Very warm welcome and um, to the Buddhist Mahaviharas Facebook page here at the Buddhist Mahaviharas Dhammadana series. I have to deeply apologize to all our viewers who are patiently waiting for this evening's Dhamma sharing. But I had a appointment this afternoon in the city, and it took me a while to get back home. This broadcast is going to be done from my house, and traffic was extremely bad, and I to apologize to all our devotees for this delayed transmission. But all the same, thank you for being patient, and I hope you'll be looking forward to this evening's Dhamma sharing. We have with us Bhante Jinananda from Canada, and I'm sure you were quite enlightened by his Dhamma sermon last Friday. And this Friday, Bhante is going to talk to us about the shortcut to Nibbana, and Bante will also be looking at the suttas for explanations to how to get to a shortcut to Nibbana. I would now like to invite Bante Jinananda to our studio. Um, Good morning, Bante.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So sorry for the delay in transmission for this evening. As I just mentioned to our audience, that's because I had appointment in town this afternoon, and it took me a while to get back home. And the traffic was extremely bad. So it looks like the COVID situation in Kuala Lumpur is almost is nil. I mean, I was back to like where we were a year ago. When there was no COVID.
Yeah,
So traffic is really bad. But all the same, we have a good viewership this evening. So let's start this evening's viewership. Because I don't think I'm going to read your profile. I think
yeah.
the audience already knows you. Let's dive straight to this evening's Dhamma sharing, which is called Shortcut to Nibbana. Bante?
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, especially Tilak, for coming home from a busy schedule and let everyone to enjoy this evening Dhamma talks. Let me begin the Dhamma sharing by paying homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and also in English. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Respected, venerable members of Mahasangha, dear friends and devotees of the Mahavihara. It is a great pleasure to be here with you today to share the beautiful teachings of the Buddha under the topic called Shortcut to Nibbana. I'm very thankful for Tilak for inviting me to have this Dhamma talks today, because it brings me a great pleasure to share the Dhamma with someone who likes it. So those who join with us today uh, have to do a lot in the name of living, but they leave everything out and dedicate their time to listen to the Dhamma because they want to, accelerate their journey to Nirvana. So today my topic is shortcut to Nirvana. This topic is really important when it is made. I also feel joy because the practice of Dhamma is such that it takes long time, and if we have a shortcut, how it would be, and what kind of things we need to do, and there are a lot of things, interesting things came to my mind. So I hope you too are eager to listen to this Dhamma talk and see whether Bhante is telling something new to us today to make our journey to Nirvana quicker and sooner. So let me begin by saying that the Dhamma of the Buddha is excellent in the beginning, excellent in the middle, and excellent in the end. If you look at the entire teachings of the Buddha, each and every single words are uttered by the Buddha to a point. What is that point? Attaining nirvana. Depending on the training and also the nature of people, the character of people, the way people reach to the Dhamma would be different. It is true that the Dhamma is excellent by every means, but it may not be applicable to each and every individual because of their knowledge, because of their interest, and because of their shraddha as well. So, friends, as you have been practicing the Dhamma for a long time, I know that you have a sense of shraddha, the faith that the Buddha's teaching is such that when we practice it, we are going to experience the peace and happiness. So, at the very beginning of the Dhamma talk, you need to have some sort of awareness and also attention to the Dhamma talk in order to benefit from that. I remember what the Buddha said for monks and nuns who actually should teach for lay people and what they should have in their mind when they teach. One thing is compassion. The other thing is the intention that I tell the Buddha's teaching to people to apply them, and then I would be able to be mindful to deliver it well with the examples and so on. That is the readiness from my side to teach the Dhamma, and from your side you should have attention, the interest for the Dhamma, and also I should benefit from this Dhamma sermon today to accelerate my journey to peace and happiness. So, with this readiness of mind, let us think about the Nirvana. I know that everybody is aware about Nirvana, theoretically, with some examples. Perhaps you have some momentary experiences of Nirvana. So, what is Nirvana? This is the first question I should keep in my mind in order to dive into the topic shortcut to Nirvana. Nirvana is a state of mind when there is absence of craving, basically greed, hatred, and ignorance. If you feel that there is no sense of greed, hatred, and ignorance, these are the three main roots of suffering or craving. So if you do not have these three things present in your mind, that is a state of nirvana. This is the simple definition. We find this definition in many discourses, especially in Anguttara Nikaya and also in Samyutta Nikaya. One day, Venerable Sariputta was questioned by one of his relatives, Jambukadaka and also Samakandaka. These are gentlemen from the clans of Venerable Sariputta. So the question was, what is Nirvana? What is Nirvana? Everybody is talking about Nirvana or Nibbana, Nibbutta, and a state of where there is no any problem. Can you, Bhante, explain in a simple term what is Nirvana? These two gentlemen in two different occasions asked this question from Venerable Sariputta. What he said is interesting. He said that extinguishing is Nirvana. He said that Nibbana is to extinguish, to blow out, as in the blowing out of a lamp. So Nibbana is so called because it is the blowing out of the fire of greed, hatred, and ignorance. Ragaggi, the fire of greed, and dosagi fire of hatred, and mohagi fire of ignorance. So this is the simple definition for nirvana. So then, is it possible for us to try today to attain nirvana or nibbana like during the time of the Buddha? For that simple question, I can bring you the idea that the Buddha always emphasized with regard to the noble path, noble eightfold path. He said in a couple of places in the Tripitaka that if one practices the noble eightfold path, the middle path, no matter which time it is, he or she can attain nirvana at least to certain stages of nirvana. So, friends, that brings us joy that nirvana is possible if we have right practice in us. Nibbana is a state of mind without greed, hatred, and ignorance. Therefore, we can deal with the greed, hatred, and ignorance in order to make nirvana is possible. So I'm going into these facts in details later on. So what I'm trying is to, tell you that nirvana is possible. Nirvana is such that you can attain, and nirvana is the peak of all the practices in the Buddha's teaching. So what we can do to attain nirvana is mainly focus in this topic, the shortcut to nirvana. So we are going to discuss what is not nirvana too, and what made us, block to attain nirvana is also slightly touched upon in this Dhamma sermon. Friends, this topic, shortcut to nirvana, what do you think when you hear about the topic, the title of the sermon? What kind of thoughts came to your mind? So, for sure, I think you would be asking which way we should go to nirvana in a short period of time. We can see that some individuals from the time of the Buddha, like Venerable Daruchirya, Venerable Sariputta, and also for the first monk of the Sasana Kondanya, and many other individuals like Pukkusati, they all got into stages of nirvana within a short period of time. Some attained to nirvana during the sermon. Some did it at the last moment of the sermon. Some did it at the very first couple of lines of the sermon. So the nirvana, when we talk about as a whole, experience, we talk about the arahantship. As you know, attain to nirvana and completely, we have to cut off 10 fetters, 10 pile-like, mountain-like, unwholesome states. Let me tell you those 10. The first one is sakkaya ditthi, which means self-view. The second one is vichikicha, the skeptical doubts and doubts about everything, doubts about nirvana, doubts about the Buddha, doubts about the arahantship. So many doubts could be in this category. Then silabhata paramas, wrong belief on certain rituals and practices. Then kamaraga, the fourth one, desire for enjoying our senses on a usual sensual basis. Then patiga, the irritating feeling, irritating perception. We can call this as anger as well, or ill will. These are the 5 lower fetters or taints that one has to cut off. And there are other 5 which are called higher fetters, ruparaga, that means desire for form, and then the desire for formless states, aruparaga, the 7th one. Then mana, conceit, then Uddacha, restlessness, and Avijja, Michaditi. These are the 10 fetters one destroy to attain the full enlightenment. That is the perfect nirvana. There is no future birth, therefore no illnesses, other type of suffering, because there is no birth. But before that full enlightenment, before that full nirvana, there are other stages of nirvana as well. As you know, the third level of enlightenment, what we call anagami. When one attains to anagami level, the third level of enlightenment, he or she also cut a lot of heavy and rigorous defiled states. As a result, after death, he is not going to come to this divine or human existence again, but he reborns in particular Brahma realms depending on skills and attain nirvana there. That is also a stage of nirvana. Uh, the other stage of nirvana is Sakadagami. That person, after attaining to this level of enlightenment, comes once into this sensual world to make his final attainment to nirvana. And that is also a stage of nirvana. And the closest and also very important one from the sensual, from the average human, side is sotapan. As you know, it is the very closest and I would say very difficult state as well, because those who attain to sotapanna or the extreme entry position should strive for it without any experience of nirvana. If you attain to jhana, that also a state of nirvana before going into nirvanic state. But at the same time, you might struggle a lot to get into this state, because you try your best to attain to sotapanna enlightening state without any direct experience about it. That's why I told you that attaining sotapanna is much more difficult than the other three stages of nirvana. So I line up these four stages with regard to the shortcut to nirvana, because if we try our best to get into these at least one stages of nirvana, the first one, we can make sure that we are going towards the full enlightenment. So on the explanation of nirvana, we cannot forget these four fruition of nirvana. So nirvana. One day, a person came to the Buddha. Actually, in the Satipatthana Sangyutta and also Bojjhanga Sangyutta, we have the two incidents like similar to each other. What is this incident? A bhikkhu came to the Buddha and asked the question, "Venerable Sir, could you explain me the path to nirvana in short, in brief, so that I can take it well and practice the Dhamma myself to make sure my attainment to nirvana?" So many times people are busy with day-to-day activities. Therefore, they would like if there is a shortcut to nirvana, because they are very busy and it is not easy to practice this whole set of teaching as Theravada Buddhism explained. So it would be very good for many people if there is a easy way to practice the Dhamma to attain nirvana. So this particular monk and also layperson was very happy if they could know about it. Actually, this statement is coming from Kundaliya Sutta from Bojjhanga Sangyutta of the Sangyutta Nikaya. So Kundaliya Sutta. So the Kundaliya asked this question from the Buddha. Then the Buddha said, "Yes, I can tell you a easy way or a shortcut or type of way to reach to nirvana in a without much difficulty. So please explain me, Bhante, about that. I am eager to listen to it. So then the Buddha said that if you have six things, you are going to have three things out of these six. If you have these three things completed, then you are going to have four as a result of completing the three things. When you have four things perfectly, you are going to have seven things as a result. So with seven things, you are going to have two more important things, and the completion of two or having these two in with it entirety, with the entirety, you are going to have nirvana. So it is a very short answer to the questions about nirvana. It seems to us that it is a shortcut. So then, actually, is this a shortcut? It is a shortcut. So then, this person did not get the point. Therefore, he would ask again, Venerable Sir, please explain me these, mathematical formula in detail so that I can understand the way to nirvana in brief. So once again, remember the six things, then three things, then four, then seven, then two, and the last one is Nibbana or Nirvana. What are these six? In Kundaliya Sutta, Buddha explained the six things as the sense restraint. We have six senses. What are the six senses? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So this is the beginning of the training. When we talk about the six sense restraint, it means that we try our best to be mindful in seeing. When you see something, you know what you are seeing and you know what exactly it could bring to your mind. So you are mindful about this seeing in such a way. Therefore, there is no possibility for you to have greed, hatred, and ignorance in mind out of that seeing, because you have, called your security guard in action. What is your security guard in action in your mind? That is mindfulness. Sati, mindfulness, is the security guard in our life. If we pay and give responsibilities for our mindfulness, the faculty of sati, definitely we can know what we see. We can actually sense what we sense. We can cognize. We can become mindful about cognitive activities as they are if we become mindful. So the sati is the main factor for us to see what exactly the mind gets out of this seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. So the Buddha talks about sense restraint with the application of mindfulness in seeing, in tasting, in hearing, in smelling, in touching, and even in thinking. So without the sensory restraint, we cannot think about even a step in this noble path. So we are going to know exactly that the sammaditthi, the right view, is the first factor of the noble path. It is true, because when you become restrained through senses, definitely the sammaditthi come into play with that. Here we have the term Yoniso Manasikara. Perhaps you have heard about this. During my last sermon, I touched it upon a little bit. Yoniso Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara means the initial application of Sammaditi. You become wise about what you are thinking, or in other words, you actually apply each type of important things in your mind when you seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. So wise attention, appropriate attention. So be mindful that the start of the uh, training to become enlightened, begins with sense restraint. So six things means you have restraint in seeing. That means whatever you see from your eyes, you become mindful and try your best to calm down your mind. Take only what is necessary, and you don't take what is unnecessary in. And then when you hear sounds, you become mindful about it. Like that, your restraint part is activated with sensing and smelling, touching, and even thinking. So when a person, lay person, as a woman or a man, come to a monastery to become a monk, they have to stay for several weeks or several months in training. It is a training period. What we exactly expect from this person is to have such a training on six senses. You are not going to enjoy your senses by sensual pleasures. You are to stop it. That is one restraint we expect. And when you associate the monastic, you are going to discipline yourself. That's mean kind of sense restraint. So you are not going to have a meditation subject immediately after you come to a monastery, because the teachers always look for your sense restraint. So when you have these six sense restraint, there are three things come to you. What are the three things? The discipline through action, and discipline through speech, and discipline through thinking, the mind. So kaya sucharita, vachi sucharita, mano sucharita in Pali. It means that when you have these six sense restraints, you are going to have the peaceful words. You are not going to utter any unpleasant, unwanted thing, because you have an understanding how you should go forward. Therefore, you select all the best words, and things are appropriate, and your actions also are thoroughly, penetrated, and selected only wholesome things for you and others. And then your mind is, of course, works according to the wholesome side, wholesome things. Therefore, physically, mentally, and verbally, you have good things in your mind. So that is a result of sense restraint. So once again, I'm telling you the shortcut. Actually, it is a shortcut. I'm going to tell you an other shortcut as well. This is one shortcut. When you see that, you might be blaming me, why this Bhante select this topic shortcut to Nirvana, but it seems to us that it's a long way. No, friends, when you adhere to the sense restraint, you can get this three important results: kaya, vachi, mano, sucharita, well-being on actions, words, and also thinking immediately. The Dhamma of the Buddha is called Swakata, Sandittika, Akalika, Opanayika, and so forth. It means that we can experience a Dhamma right now if we apply the right thing. Therefore, we would be able to get this Dhamma into our application right now, and also experience the results. So, depending on the time period we spend for practice, we can name it as a shortcut. When you take a shortcut to a distant place, you definitely mean the geographical things. If it takes only 1 kilometer, Earlier you had 3-4 kilometers, but you take a road and it is only 1 kilometer. That is what you mean by shortcut. But we can consider the time period as well. So here, if we practice sense restraint as said by the Buddha, there you have the three things in your mind immediately. So I have experienced this in my life as a monastic. We do not enjoy the senses as lay people sometimes they do. So we feel that energy, support within for doing other things, other important things. So if I get back to the statement of the Buddha, when three things are there, there would be four more things. What are these four things? When you have the discipline or the perfect experience from physical and verbal and mental aspect, you are going to have four things. What are these four things? That is the four foundation of mindfulness. Satipatthana. I know this Mahavihara is a place of Dhamma sermon, different type of Dhamma sermon, different type of monastic individuals, and they had been talking a lot about four foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana. Therefore, I am sure that you have heard about it. Mindfulness on body and all the aspect of the body. Mindfulness on feelings aggregates. Mindfulness on mind and its behavior. Mindfulness on mental states. So what we call Dhamma. These are the four foundation of mindfulness. So without the sense restraint and the next link called Trividha Sucharita, three way of discipline, you are not going to practice the four foundation of mindfulness as the Buddha said. So it's not easy for anybody to be mindful of the body and its shape and things without that basic fundamental training. In this way to Nirvana, you can see how Paticca Samuppada come into explain, come into existence, come into application. So without the sense restraint, you don't have the three type of discipline, and without the three type of discipline, you cannot get the four foundation of mindfulness. In other words, with six type of restraint, you have three things come into, and then with three things as the basis, you have four foundation of mindfulness. So friends, it's interesting because in each of these experiences, you are going to get the glimpse of Nirvana. As I told you, Nirvana is an absence of greed, hatred, and ignorance. Suppose you cannot pull out the greed, hatred, and ignorance completely, but you can cut off the major part of it by applying these steps. That's why I told you that the glimpse of Nirvana or the momentary experience of Nirvana could be your experience if you apply the first step and the second step. Particularly when you come to the four foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana, it is a one particular hallmark where you experience Nirvana. Let me get into the statement of the Buddha at the very beginning of Satipatthana. Ekayanu ayang bhikkave maggo sattanang visuddhya. Buddha said that this is the direct path for five important outcome. Ekayanu ayang bhikkave maggo sattanang. The first one is sattanang visuddhya. If you practice four foundation, not just one, the whole four, the first good results you get is the mental and physical purification. If you have mental purification, definitely you have physical purifications too. What do you mean by physical purification? You don't do any stealing, killing, or misconduct by body at all. That is called physical purification. So the very purpose of the Satipatthana is this purification. And then the second outcome is Sattanam Soka Paridhavanam Samatikkamaya. Overcoming sorrow and lamentation. The next one is overcoming pain and grief. Next we have gaining right knowledge. And the last one, Nibbana Satchikriyaya, attaining Nirvana, perfecting oneself in Nirvana. So these are the five important purposes of practicing Satipatthana. So it is a direct path there. So with this five important things in mind, we practice mindfulness of body, mindfulness on feeling, mindfulness on mind, and also mindfulness on Dhamma. We have a discussion whether the word mindfulness is really fitting for sati. One of your teachers, Venerable Punnaji, did not like the word mindfulness. He used harmonious awareness and that sort of words. It's fine, very good. So whatever word you go with, it's fine, but the essence should be understood that it is being the important way of catching this nirvanic experience. So when we practice for foundation of mindfulness, when what exactly happened to our mind? Atapi sampajano satima vinay loke abhijjadopanasa. We practice for foundation of mindfulness atapi, with wholesome effort, with harmonious effort. Our effort is to defeat the unwholesomeness. So that is our purpose in the right effort. Atapi sampajano, with mindfulness and also wisdom, we practice the four foundation of mindfulness. Sampajano. Satima, the sati, being aware or mindful, is emphasized again. Why we need samadhi, wise attention and appropriate attention and right effort and right mindfulness or awareness there, because abhijja domana sangviniyalo. We need to end intense greed and hatred and ignorance there. So we practice four foundation of mindfulness with the presence of right effort, right mindfulness, and wisdom to defeat the greed, hatred, and ignorance. Then only we are going to experience purification and absence of sorrow and lamentation, pain, grief, and gaining knowledge and experiencing nibbana could happen after with this practice. So Buddha said that is why the Satipatthana is the direct path for nirvana. So when Tilak introduced me with the topic, he said that I'm going to explain the shortcut to nirvana or nibbana based on Satipatthana discourses. Yes, and other discourses. So as said by the Buddha to that particular person, Kundalaya, you need to make sure that you have 6 things first, then 3 things. 3 things come as a result of 6 things in your life. So as a layperson, as a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, we all need to have it. If you are going to enjoy your senses over and over again with dancing, singing, music, and all the other mundane things, it is difficult for that particular persons to get the 3 type of discipline. And if not, we pay attention to the 3 type of discipline, it may not be able to find peace and happiness there and let our mind practice the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Right? So then now, Buddha said that when you complete 4 things, they are going to have 7 things. I think those who know the Dhamma can guess what it is. The 7th thing means 7 factors of enlightenment. What are the 7 factors of enlightenment? Bojjhanga. So there are the first Bojjhanga is sati, mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. Bojjhanga means factor of enlightenment, a clear limbs for enlightenment. So that is, the first one is sati. The second one is dhamma vichar, which means investigation into the dhamma as a factor of enlightenment. And the third one is virya bojjhanga, which means again right effort. It could be perseverance too. So it is a factor of enlightenment. Why do you mean by bojjhanga, factor of enlightenment? Because when you have these 7 things, you are going to have nirvanic experience immediately. That's why they are called bodhyanga, or the factor of enlightenment. The first one sati, second one investigation, dhamma vichaya, then third one is virya or perseverance, the rightful energy. These are the 3 cardinal factors of enlightenment. Why do I say that? Because in the Noble Eightfold Path, Buddha clearly mentioned that Samma Ditti, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, right understanding, right mindfulness, and also right effort are together to develop the other important factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. Here the same thing. Sati, Dhammavichya, Virya means the Samma Ditti, Samma Vacha, Samma Vayam, and Samma Sati in the Noble Eightfold Path. That's why I told you these 3 in the 7 sets is important. Then the fourth one is Piti Bojjhanga. Right? What is that? Rapture. So it is also a factor of enlightenment. Then Passaddhi, tranquility. Piti is a kind of mental happiness, mental relaxation. It is a very gorgeous feeling. When you have Piti in your mind, there is no any disturbance from hindrances, no problems at all. That is a type of feeling with the word rapture. Then Passaddhi, it is called tranquility. Your mind and body are both in a state of total peace and happiness when you have this factor of enlightenment called tranquility or Passaddhi. So now we have explained you 4 factors of enlightenment. 5, sorry. The 6th one is samadhi. Samadhi is concentration. Your mind is in a state of total peace and happiness. It is totally out of 5 hindrances and other disturbances out of 5 hindrances. It is called samadhi. The last one is upekka, balance, equanimity, a state of equilibrium, no suffering, no happiness too. It is beyond all these happy and unhappy levels of our mind. So these are the 7 factors of enlightenment. As I said, 7 factors of enlightenment. We have the word enlightenment there, and it means that when you have these 7, you are in nirvana. Let's see. So how do we have these 7 factors in our life? Before that, we have to practice 4 things. 4 foundation of mindfulness, satipatthana. And again, satipatthana is not coming immediately without anything. It needs food. It needs nourishment. It needs support. What does these 4 foundation of mindfulness support? It is these 3 discipline, and 3 discipline do not come into effect if there is no sense restraint. So this, you can see how this sets of teaching in our mind stand together and support the other to experience the higher training. So then, having these 7 factors of enlightenment in unison, we can experience 2 things. What are the 2 things? Vidya and Vimukti. Vidya is the true knowledge about everything. So when you practice the 7 factors of enlightenment, there is no any indication of ignorance, indication of not knowing about mind and body and rest of the things. You are full with knowledge. It is true knowledge, not just knowledge about the geography, the stars, the universe, and so forth, but the knowledge about 5 aggregates of clinging, knowledge about mind, knowledge about physical body, knowledge about human, divine, and other existed. What caused this cycle of birth and death, uh, go forward, and how we are going to stop it? These are the knowledges we talk about in this level. So Vidya is a huge term in Buddhism. Vidya Udapadi, in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, you come across this word, Vidya Udapadi, Alok Udapadi. So the light, luminous, colorful mind is achieved with knowledge, right? So Vidya means, therefore, is the true knowledge, perfect knowledge about everything. So then Vidya Vimukti, the word Vimukti means liberation from suffering, liberation from everything. So with the practice of 7 factors of enlightenment, you are going to have 2 things: Vidya, the true perfect knowledge, and also liberation. So Buddha said, finally, when you have these 2, you are in Nibbana. So Nibbana is the essence of or the culmination of Vidya Vimukti. So the Kundaliya got to know the shortcut to Nirvana, and it is said, if you have 6 things, you have 3 things, and with 3 things you have 4 more, and with 4 you have 7, and with 7 you have 2, and with these 2 you have Nirvana. It is a short one. I didn't take at least 1 minute to tell it, but when you analyze it, it is not a shortcut, friends. As you mean, it is a shortcut if you really practice the 6 sense restraint. You are quickly going into experience the 3, and if you are a smart, quick learner, you would definitely understand the 4 foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana too. Then with Satipatthana practice, you feel that you are having these 7 factors of enlightenment, and you of course now experience momentary Nibbana that is not completed, but you sense it because you experience Samadhi now. If you go with the first one and the second one in Satipatthana level, you experience Jnana. So having experienced Jnana, you can sense what Nirvana is, because Nirvana is absence of greed, hatred, and ignorance. It could be done for individuals who practice the Satipatthana, right? So the time wise, we can experience Nibbana. So therefore, we can call it shortcut, but it depends on the level of the person's experience, level of the person's knowledge, and the interest. I just want to quickly get into another important factor in terms of explaining the shortcut to Nirvana. Why Nirvana is not possible and probable for many people? Because the way of perception. In one of the important discourses in Anguttara Nikaya, it's called Vipallasa Sutta. Vipallasa means, we have distorted our perception. Buddha talks about the perception and how it could become wrong and directed towards unwholesomeness. So in that discourse, Buddha talks about the four pervasion of perception and pervasion of mind and pervasion of view. It means the way we perceive something decide whether we delude our sanya perception and also mind and our view. In other words, friends, our perception, mind, and also vision would be could be wrong as the way we understand things. In the details of the discourse, Buddha talks about everything in this world is impermanent, for sure. If you think about your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and everything, and rest of the things around you, they are all made up of. We are made up of our own karma in previous life. And the mother and father supported us, providing the facility, the opportunity for us to, get rebirth in mother's womb. And there are many other things they did. But however, it is our own karma created us. And what about these material things around us? They are all made up of. So, therefore, it is not difficult, even for a child, even for a kid, to understand that everything is impermanent. But do we follow this? Do we accept this practically? I would say no. But as individuals who follow the Buddha's teaching, you would do it. You are doing it, but many people in this world don't do that. So the first, the distortion or the wrong thing that people do to delude their perception, mind, and view is that all these impermanent things are taken as permanent things. Anicca nicca sanya bhavishyati. So what we do to block our nirvana is that we think that all these things are mine, they are not going to last, they are going to stay with us. This is the original idea that average human beings and other living beings has. So we cannot deny this, because we see that from average people. They like perfect happenings, like they want to make their eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind happy always. That is the sensual pleasure. And when you have sensual pleasures, your idea is permanent. You don't see impermanence there. So therefore, the problem of the sensual world is to understand that everything is permanent. So when this is the first blocking state people, living beings, develop to push nirvanic experience backward. They are not in a position to experience nirvana, because they have thought otherwise. In order to experience nirvana, the thought of impermanent anicca is required. That is one way of clearing our views, clearing our mind, and clearing our perception. If we think that these things belongs to me, that things belongs to me, I am here and you are there, I'm so and so, and that's mean you neglect the very important teachings of the Buddha, anicca, and move forward with something negative. So that is the first block of nirvana. Then the second one is dukkhe sukha sanya, right? So if everything is impermanent, then we cannot expect happy, enjoyable things. Fundamentally, everything is under suffering. That is what we mean by dukkha satya. So if everything has the nature of arising and ceasing, which means anicca, how can we find permanent happiness out of everything? They are all impermanent, right? So, but people are to pursue things as happy, enjoyable, and so forth. Of course, we have a type of enjoyment with seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and doing all kinds of things. But what we need to reflect always as followers of the Buddha, that these are temporary. They are going to change. And I like this idea, I like that idea, I like this person, but I know that they are going to change. So if we have this notion called dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness as an idea, you are not going to hold on to that attachment. So the dukkhe sukha sanya, people have the feeling of happiness and pleasure on things that are naturally, fundamentally unsatisfactory. Therefore, they create problems. They create wrong view, wrong mind, and wrong perception. So this is the second block, second barrier for nirvana. The third one is everything is not attractive in this world. So people have subhasanya, which means this is nice, that is nice, or what a wonderful thing, what a wonderful experience. It is enjoyable. So people feel that they are happy, but actually, the fundamental truth is that they are unattractive. They are going to change. They are repulsive. So long people attach to things with the pleasurable, enjoyable idea, they are going to think they are happy and so on, and suffering is the result. But if people think that they are unattractive, particular, they are going to get closer to nirvana. So the third block is thinking everything is pleasurable, but it is not according to the true nature of everything. So that is the third block. Then quickly I go to the fourth one, anatte atta sanya bhavisati. So if everything is impermanent and under suffering and cannot be attractive, how can I take things as I, me, and myself? How can I express my unchanged belongingness, ownership to things? Even this body that I hold on to is going to change. And if we take each and every single part of the body and mind, they are in their own changing mood. They are supported by food, they are supported by different mentalities and so forth. And not a person is there to control it. Actually, even though I say this is my body, can I control any of those things? No, I cannot stop aging. I cannot stop decay of this body. I cannot stop dying. One day I will be in that death moment. So it shows that there is no permanent I, me, and myself. Therefore, atta or the non-self is the reality. But with permanent view and happy and attractive feeling, people think that I exist, I'm going to do this and so on. So they have attached to self. That is the third block. So nirvana is not far away, friends, if we have these ideas in mind, exactly as the Buddha said. As I said earlier, that formula, if you have sense restraint, Nibbana is not that far. Nibbana is not that distance. Sometime you might ask questions how we are going to have sense restraint as lay people. It is impossible for us sometime to have this perfect teaching with so much works. I agree to that. Even the Buddha agreed to that. That's why he he told himself that these people who have busy life with so many things could not be in a positions to understand the Dhamma, because and therefore I am not going to teach. As soon as he attained to full enlightenment, this is the very impression he got from seeing people and their nature. But he explained the Dhamma to lay people and explained the tricky point of unwholesomeness, greed, hatred, and delusion, and also show them the right directions towards nirvana. This is that path. If I told you that you must apply the the noble eightfold path and understand the four noble truths immediately, there you need to have understanding of Patichampada is too broad, deep, not discernible easily. But if you are taught to practice sense restraint and get type of experience of nirvana just before it, it is possible, right? It does not mean that Buddha asks us to close our eyes when things are wrong. It does not mean that we have to close our ears by big things that we usually use for covering our ears. No, we leave these senses open, but we apply mindfulness. We apply the awareness, the wise attention to block greed, hatred, and delusion. That's how we gain sense restraint. Therefore, you do not want to worry about three types of discipline. It is coming alone as a result of the sensory experiences. Majjhima Nikaya, in Majjhima Nikaya, there is a sutta called Indriya Bhavana Sutta, the last one of the Majjhima Nikaya, 152. So in that discourse, we are to getting into positions to practice sense restraint. So friends, the getting ourselves closer to nirvana is possible if we apply these 2-3 things at the very beginning. I just want to, time is running very fast, but I just want to tell you one important thing. In Kitagiri Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, that sutta is named by the place he delivered it, Kitagiri. So that is a very good discourse to read by everyone. The Buddha said that I don't say that enlightenment is achieved right away. Rather, enlightenment is achieved by gradual training, gradual progress, and gradual practice. Nirvana is a possible thing, and the shortcut to nirvana is, of course, short by the time you spend and the effort you get. But it is a gradual training. Buddha accepted the fact that everybody cannot get into right away, because it needs some gradual training and gradual progress and gradual practice. One day a person came to the Buddha called Ganaka Moggallana, accountant. He was an accountant. He said to the Buddha that I am accountant, and when I am hiring a new person, I always teach him how to count and divide and subdivide, and I apply all kinds of accounting method for him to learn about it. Then only I give the jobs to be done, because I'm sure that now he is ready for helping me in my duty, in my profession. So, Venerable Sir, I heard about you and about the way you teach the Dhamma. Do you have gradual progress, gradual training, gradual practice in your teachings too? Because I am an accountant, I know that I do it in my profession. And as a truth seeker and also teacher who teach transcendental teaching, do you have the same thing? Then the Buddha said that, yes, in my teaching, I taught disciples and I teach disciples the gradual training Anupubba Sikka. I do not ask people to jump into the highest training principle, but practice sense restraint as a beginning, as a good foundation. Yeah, we have a gradual training. And then gradual progress. Anupubba Sikka, Anupubba Kiriya. So you do things gradually, one step at a time. So uh, complete your sense restraint. There you can get into the next one after that. So gradual progress should be there. Then, of course, we have gradual practice, Anupubba Patipada. Once you complete the first one, you can go to the next, and then you strengthen your mind there, and then you get to the next one. So, yeah, I teach my disciples gradual training, gradual progress, and gradual practice. Then this accountant Mogallana asked the second question from the Buddha. Okay, I understand that you have it. So it means that everyone has the chance of practicing these three gradual things. Do you think that everyone who come to you, Venerable Sir, get into Nirvana? Because it sounds like you have the method, you have the path clearly. So when disciple listen to it, do they get into Nirvana quickly by following these gradual training, gradual progress, and gradual practice? Um, before he answered to the Buddha, he himself said that I don't see that everyone does it, and I assume that everyone don't do it. Why it happens? So there is the Buddha, there is the clear path, and why can't people attain Nirvana? Then the Buddha said a very important thing. What is that? Suppose uh, you ask two persons to go from one city to another, and you explain the path from this city A to the city B, and you explain where you turn right and left and go forward, and which place you stay for rest, and you explain the path for one city A to city B clearly. So these two people, suppose, get into the road, and they go halfway through. One forget the road and got to the wrong way, and he would not go to the city B because he is going on the wrong way. But the second person definitely go to the city B without any problem because he remembers the road. So Buddha, having said this, one person get into wrong direction and ended up his journey somewhere else, but the second person, having listened to your advice about the roads and their directions, and he kept that in mind and went to the city B as the destination. Is that you responsible for getting that first person into wrong directions? No, Venerable Sir. I explained I explained both of them the right directions. And then Buddha asked, what is the wrong with the first person who got the wrong destination? It is because, Venerable Sir, he did not listen to the directions when I explained to it, and that's why he was unable to recall what is right and what is wrong in the halfway through of the road. So I'm not responsible. It is he, it is that person who is responsible for going on wrong way. So then the Buddha said that, Moggallana, I too explain the Dhamma to bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and lay followers equally. I do not make any separation. I explain everything. So sometimes people listen to the Dhamma to Nirvana with perfect mindfulness, and those individuals, when they practice the Dhamma, remember what I said and they go into Nirvana. But some people do not listen to me well with rightful attention and they do something else. Therefore, when they try their training and practice, they are forgetful because they did not listen to it, and therefore they do not end up their practice with nirvana. So, friends, nibbana is possible if we are to think about who we are. At last, I just want to tell you this. Before we got into nirvana, with shortcut to nirvana or long way to nirvana, one thing should be understood. That is understanding your mind. Because in the form of meditation or sila samadhi and panya or noble eightfold way or with seven factors of enlightenment, these are all ways to nirvana, including satipatthana. Unless you know what your mind is, how could you develop your mind? So therefore, you need to know what exactly your mind is. If I ask the question, what is your mind? So a lot of people are in a silent mode with this question because it is a difficult question, uh, and also people do not know what mind is. They can explain their body, physical body. Physical body uh, uh, is consisting of such and such body parts, and it has solid parts and this nature, and you would write a long essay about physical body. But what is mind is? Mind also has components, friends. What are the components of mind? We have the feeling nature, then perception, then we have being able to experience something. It is also part of our mind. We call contact or passa, sensory impression. Then we have chetana, the intention is also a component of our mind. Then manasikara, thinking ability. So these are the 5 components of the mental section of our life, and vijnana is also a part of it. So this is a process. Mind, the simple answer is a process that is always rising and passing. That's why we cannot pinpoint of the place of mind in our body. The modern science might say that the brain is the very important organ, and they used to tell mind is the brain. Sometime in the texts, like commentaries, they would say that mind associate always with the heart and the brain and so on. People are to say many things, but mind is always a process that attached to 6 senses. The feeding ground of our mind is 6 senses, and it is functioning always. So if you understand mind is not an agent of somebody or something, and it is supported and originated with the support of many other things, there you are. So now you are going to develop that mind with necessary qualities for nirvana. Last week's sermon, I was telling you that the art of transformation, self transformation. There I address how you are going to fill your mind with good things. There you have the perfect transformation. It is in line with today's sermon too. Shortcut to nirvana means you transform your mind into a peaceful state. When you transform your mind, no place for greed, hatred, and delusion in your mind. So, friends, once again, if you apply these very simple things, the nirvana is possible. That is the shortcut for nirvana. So, once again, my emphasis on nirvana, to experience it right now, just have sense restraint. When you have sense restraint, you have the Trividha Sucharita, three training, then you have four foundation of mindfulness in your practice. There you have the taste of limbs of nirvana, vidya, vimutti could be very, very important experiences with the seven factors of enlightenment. There you are in nirvana. So I wish you could apply these things in your life and attain nirvana in this very life. So, that is the end of today's sermon. May these blessings be with you. May you all practice nirvana right now, because nirvana is not an end. Actually, when you attain to so arahantship, it is the end, but you can experience nirvana right now by applying these principles. So I wish you nirvana right now, and I wish you strength, perfect wisdom to complete your nirvana practice in this very life. With this wholesome thought, I bless you to attain nirvana. That is the end of today's sermon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, as I was requested, I am going to transfer merits to departed relatives and also divine beings. And also,
Sorry, Bhante. Before we do that,
yeah,
uh, I was waiting for some questions from the audience,
yeah,
uh, but I didn't see any questions. But maybe I have a few personal questions that we can maybe discuss quickly before we go to the Anumodana.
yeah.
Okay. So looks like in modern times, right? Looks like only the monastics may have the opportunity to reach nibbana because of the practice of control of the senses. Because most lay people do not have the opportunity to be able to control your senses on a regular basis unless you're a monastic, because we have our daily chores or work and career and family. So looks like, for us to be actually to be able to attain nibbana is going to be difficult unless you're a monastic. Is that correct view?
Uh, Thank you for the question, Leslie. Yeah, it is a very good question, because of the intensity of sensual desire, uh, we may not be able to find a footage on the right practice as a lay person. Yes, it is seemingly difficult for lay people to practice the Dhamma like monastic today, because you are busy with your jobs and responsibilities at the family level and also professional level in between and so forth. But that is why I always take this uh, important step in the Satipatthana and Bojjanga Samyutta, where you can pay attention. Uh, if you focus your attention to sensory discipline, uh, that is the beginning, and that would be difficult definitely. But instead of rely on huge, very profound teaching always, uh, by paying attention to these simple but very important things, you can feel that you are away from some sort of problems. Nirvana, as you said, extinguishing burning feeling. When you live your life with jobs and things, you always get into problems. Suppose anger could arise, and thirsty for different things could arise, so there are burning issues. When you have sense restraint, though it is difficult, you would definitely feel cool feeling, comfortable feeling, right? So in that way we can gain the momentum to experience glimpse of nirvana. I always tell people to get into nirvana, momentary nibbanic experiences before you experience nirvana by such a way. It is like going towards the huge towers, twin towers in Kuala Lumpur, right? Suppose I go to visit that. Even before I reach closer to it, I can watch it from long distance. It is a guarantee that I go there because I see it like that. If we compare the twin towers to Nirvana, so I would see Nirvana well before I go to the closer to the twin towers. Like that, experience Nibbana with sense restraint. I did not go into details how we are going to get the restraint part of seeing, hearing, tasting, and so forth. So that Buddha said clearly that what you see is only seeing. That's how you should train. You cannot stop your seeing many things in your life. You go to work, you see people stuck with traffic jam, and you see people are fighting, and you experience people are targeting you as well. So then things are not in your wish, so you become upset and irritated and agitated. So all the negative emotion come in as a huge waves. Of course, it is true, but try your best to practice that it is only seeing, it is only hearing, it is only tasting, it is only feeling, and so forth. Have this statement of the Buddha in mind. Therefore, you would be able to experience some sort of control, self-control. In Sangyutta Nikaya, there is a very beautiful discourse for this. One day, Buddha asked from the group of monks, monks, do not keep something, not belong to you. Do not keep in your possession. Something never belongs to you. If you keep something belong to someone else, it is a problem. What are these things that you do not belong to? Your eyes, do not belong to you. They have the nature of changing, impermanence. Your ears, tongue, nose, and the body and mind. These are the 6 things that you cannot claim as yours because they are always changing. So if they are not yours, leave it apart. So this is another thing you can practice. Okay, seeing is not permanent, seeing is not mine, and what I use for seeing is also not mine. So this is these statements, keep them in mind, and then try to practice them. So mindfulness is not anything else but keeping them in mind and letting them into practice. So I accept the fact that it is very, very difficult for lay people. Even we find difficulty sometimes because, yes, we are in a monastic setting, but we have to associate the, society and social, experiences are there for us. So if we are in full form of social, uh, you know, uh, you know, contest, we would also find difficulty in training our mind towards nirvana. But at the same time, Buddha encourage us to do it because it is possible. Buddha was in Savatthi, Rajgir. There are big cities, and lot of monks and nuns and lay people attain to first stage of enlightenment in those big busy cities. So it indicates that no matter how busy we are, we can do it. That's why we need to understand what mind is, how our body relate to mind, and how these two function together, and how our mind is purified and also otherwise. So with those things, we can get into at least samadhi to experience the nirvana before it, and to stage of enlightenment. So that is my answer. Thank you very much for the question.
Bhante, sorry, do you have time for one more question?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is the question.
Is the nirvana the same as heaven? Please explain, Bhante, and thank you. People, use this word heaven for nirvana because they have listened to nirvanic experiences and also the stories from heaven. In heaven, you don't have aging and also decay like we experience, and we do not hear many stories of troubles and problems and diseases, pandemic, and also problems like landslide, earthquake, tsunami in divine world, because they spontaneously reborn in divine world. They have mansions and lot of divine pleasures, and we used to call metta, karuna, mudita, upekka as for brahmaviharas divine qualities. Therefore people are to think that being a divine or having divine pleasure is nirvana. But friends, no. Buddha said that it is also a rebirth, and when you reborn as a divine being, due to birth, there you have exhaustion of your life span as a divine being, and you would fight for gaining certain things. And in divine world, we have indication in the Tripitaka that divine beings fought each other, fight each other for certain things. So divine pleasure is something else. It is also in the sensual existence. But nirvana, there is no footage at all. There is no pleasure at all. Actually, I don't know whether you understand with this short answer. Nirvana has no pleasure. Nirvana has no enjoyment. One day, Venerable Sariputta was asked, "What is the pleasure in nirvana? What is the essence of nirvana?" Venerable Sariputta said that there is no pleasure uh, in nirvana at all, because pleasure, happiness, and all these things are conditional. We gain happiness and pleasure out of some practice, but nirvana is unconditional state. In other words, we destroy the possibility of good and bad to attain nirvana, and nirvana is therefore out of or beyond both happiness and also suffering. So heavenly bliss, happiness, has conditions. When you do good things in this life, you of course reborn in divine world as a matter of your good deeds in this life. And it just like we put money into our account and we live with the interest, and we do not, suppose you do not earn money after that, so you spend all this money in the account, and one day you are going to have zero in your account because you do not have enough money in the account. You did not earn. Like that, you reborn in happy places like divine existence with the meritorious powers you have. One day you are going to end it. But nirvana, once you attain nirvana, it is the total ending of everything, and there is no rebirth, there is no aging, no decay, no death, no sorrow, no lamentation at all. So, my friend, nirvana is therefore not divine pleasure, not divine existence. It has a total separation. It is a total different things. But when we talk about the quality of nirvana, we can mention that there is a divine pleasure, because the one who attain to nirvana experience metta, karuna, mudita, upekka as the characteristic features of him or her. So that is my short answer for the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you for taking time off to answer those questions. Maybe now we can proceed to the Anumodana. I would like to invite you to conduct the Anumodana.
Thank you so much, Tilak, for making me uh, to have this sermon today, the Friday evening. Even though we started the sermon, late, I think we have enough time to share the Dhamma. We were so fortunate to think about those possibilities of Nirvana, the requirements of Nirvana. The topic we discussed today is the shortcut to Nirvana. And I told you that there are shortcuts, but when we explain them, they are not that short too. But if we apply the Dhamma, we can experience nirvanic pleasure right here now. So that is what we discussed. So to have this Dhamma sermon, many individuals supported. Uh, by name, they are IMO Chu Sok Mi and Chu Hang Yu. Uh, Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Uh, so this is the first family, or I think friends who sponsored today's Dhamma sermon. And then the Mr. and Mrs. Shivakumar Chandran and family. And then the third family, Hu Li Nong. So these are the individuals who sponsors today's Dhamma sermon. So I wish them blessings. May you be able to do a lot of meritorious deed like this. Dana, Sila, Bhavana, Sila, Samadhi, Prajna are the ways to practice the Dhamma and get closer to Nirvana. So may you have opportunities to do that, and may you be in Nirvana sooner than later. And those who passed away in your families, may they also receive these blessings, and may they be well, happy, and peaceful too. And those individuals who support for this Dhamma sermons to help to hold, like Tilak and all other committee members of the Mahavihara. May they be well, happy, and peaceful. So now we move on to transfer merits to departed relatives, especially those relatives and friends who passed away from these sponsors. May they be well, happy, and peaceful. May they find happiness out of these meritorious powers to make their journey short and attain nirvana. And the divine beings who always like to share the merits with us, may they also be in nirvana sooner than later. With this wholesome thought, let me recite the stanzas to transfer merits, first to departed relatives and next to divine beings. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata ca ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata ca ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata ca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, we make a wish. By arranging this Dhamma sermon Friday evening, you, Tilak, and all community members accumulated merits. And by sponsoring this Dhamma sermon, you all did a great job. And by listening to Dhamma sermon mindfully and with wise attention, you make a special step towards the nirvana. So my wish for you is that may we all be able to attain nirvana in this life, and may we all be well, happy, and peaceful. With this wholesome thought in mind, I'm going to recite the concluding stanza to invoke blessings to all of you. අභිවාදන සේලිස්ස නිච්චං වද්දාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්තේ ආයුවන්නෝ සුකං බලං ආයුරාරෝග්‍ය සම්පත්තේ සග්ග සම්පත්ති මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පත්ති මිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු සාදු සාදු සාදු.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you so much for this wonderful sharing. And I'm sure we have a very appreciative audience. I noticed the numbers were consistent throughout from the time we started, and we started late, and we are now finishing almost at 1.5 hours later, and it's almost 10:30 here in Malaysia on the Friday evening. And I'm very glad the numbers have not dropped, and yeah, we've been very consistent. We have almost 45 people who are listening live right now. I'm sure they all appreciated this double sharing on the shortcut to Nibbana, and for I think also because you also spoke last week and this week, this Friday, and I'm sure many of them are also looking forward to listening to you more. Bante, I just noticed there was a commentary that somebody just mentioned. Let me just post it up for you. It says, Sadhu, 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 Bante, for an excellent sermon. Thank you so much for explaining the shortcut to Nirvana, and hope to listen to more Dhamma sermons from you. So, so that you have a very good following, Bante, here in Malaysia.
Thank you.
So, we hope to see you and invite you more often to our Dhammadana series. So, thank you so much for taking time
You're
off to be with
welcome.
us this
Welcome.
morning.
Wish you all
And
good night.
good night. Yes, and to also sponsors and to everyone who was listening to us, have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you again next Sunday.